In a galaxy far away but very similar to ours, a planet is overpolluted. Humanity is split into two, the corporate and the working class. The corporations rule the world while the majority work endlessly to supply the corporate class demands. Capitalism has become the system above all. Today, I, your trusty narrator, want to tell you the true story of two boys determined to eliminate evil from the world they love and live in. The heroic tale of Tricky, Blade, and their magical friend Rory. Let's start with Tricky, a boy. Born in arguably the poorest part of the world, where conditions were amongst the harshest. Living spaces crammed together, landfills and streets merging into one, and the weather going absolutely crazy. The neighborhoods of the poor and the rich were separated by a giant wall. On the other side of the wall, things were completely different in the corporate world. Rich people could afford their own houses and even had some nature left around. Tricky walked by the wall every single day. He didn't know what was inside, but he could only imagine. And even just that thought was enough to leave him fed up with the injustice that he had been experiencing. His hobby became foraging in one of the several dozens of landfills around his house. The corporations had, of course, made this activity illegal because this was the only way the working people could salvage and find materials for free. One day, Tricky found a shiny, gooey pile of trash that he weirdly felt connected to. At that moment, another boy fell from a waste pipe right on top of the shiny pile of garbage, and from inside of it emerged Rory, a creature from another world. At first, Rory didn't trust the boys, but soon after it learned about the hardships of their life, and it was willing to share the secret of its very existence and teach them its ways. This is how the boys learned about turning trash into magical items and weapons to fight the evil, greedy corporations. Blade, the boy who fell from the pipe, was convinced the only way to fight pollution was to go to the corporate cities and convince them to invest in the repurposing and recycling of trash. There they would show their new idea and their magical methods that could solve the world's issues with pollution. So they left and met a lot of like-minded followers along the way, learned new techniques and made a lot of magical objects, helping lots of people and creatures. Most importantly, Blade, Tricky, and their new friends cleaned up a lot of waste by repurposing it. However, nothing changed, and it seemed like trash was piling up more than ever. When they got to the first corporate city, they witnessed the wasteful lifestyles that the rich were living. They had luxuries that the working class had not even heard of. The boys quickly understood that the corporate world had no interest in repurposing the trash, because it was them dumping it on the working class and filling up the landfills. Rory told Blade and Tricky that nothing would change, unless they were willing to fight this till the end. They went back to the landfills, foraged for months, created many weapons and a whole army with which they planned to overthrow the corporate class. Their time was running out, but the boys were confident, and Rory was right there beside them. Armed in battle, they fought day and night endlessly for weeks and prevailed over the evil corporations. But despite their heroic victory, some of the evil escaped their planet and was never fully eliminated from the universe. So now it is up to people like you and me to challenge the injustices we see in the world and fight against the evil.